If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide.
Hello. Welcome back to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, your host, Sarah. So excited to talk to you today. Today we're going to be diving into something that I've gotten some comments on recently that I, initially maybe was like, what are you talking about? But I think it's worth addressing because it's, I think it kind of branches these two philosophies that I once was very much a part of. And that is like the more trained sound versus the most raw, talent, unique, personalized sound. So we're going to be diving into what it means to have like a BFA belt is like something that's been coming around online and or like a cookie cutter sound, and like kind of the fear around training your voice that you'll just have a cookie cutter sound, and how that ties into learning to mix and learning to do things. So that's that. So we're going to be talking about that. Before we dive in, I just want to remind you, this is the once a year opportunity to get free access to absolutely insane quality information. And that's with the Discover mini course, free Discover for 2025. I've tried a couple different variations of this over the last year, and I think this is going to be probably the way it's going to continue. But you do not want to miss this. This Discover mini course is basically from these world famous events that I ran last year. And it's now chopped up into a very easy to use mini course, which basically gives you what you need to understand how to hear yourself like a voice teacher, how to essentially be your own voice teacher. It's information that I paid thousands of dollars to learn. It's information that I was angry that I didn't know before, and is why I am giving it to you for free. However, there are some boundaries with it because it must end September 30th. Again, this is worth thousands of dollars, guys. And to make sure that you actually apply yourself and do it, we got to put a cutoff date on it. You have to understand that if you don't watch it by September 30th, you won't have any access to it anymore. You could buy it. It's part of the Pillars series. It's part of how that Pillars program works. But if you don't get it, you're not going to get it for free. Again, firm boundaries with this because it's so valuable. And I want you to actually get your butt moving and actually watch the damn thing. We're not going to do the thing where you add your email and your name and be like, I'll watch it eventually. And then you don't put it in your calendar and then you forget. And then you're like, wait, I want an extension. No extensions, honey. This is it. I'm putting this everywhere. I'm blasting this everywhere because I do want you to have it. Yes. And you need to prioritize yourself and prioritize this discomfort that you've had that you haven't been able to figure out how to help yourself with your voice. This discomfort that, voice lessons haven't been working as well with maybe teachers that you've worked with. Prioritize your dream of actually, being able to use your voice the way you want to. I want you to put yourself first, and I want you to block off time in your calendar before September 30th. Sit down. It's about 2.5 hours long. You can watch half of it one day and watch the other half the other day. And there's attachments that you can download. Make sure you're doing it. I'm feel like I'm putting on a little bit of a lecture tone because it would be so silly not to. Like, I'm actually kind of mad at you if you don't take advantage of that. And if you don't take advantage of that, there's something else going on. There is some serious self-sabotaging behavior happening. And I want you to check in on that, okay? Again, this is about making this accessible. This is about helping singers and artists to free their sound and get information that is going to help them and move them closer to being able to use their instrument in the way they want to. So, and it is world famous. It has been viewed on 6 out of 7 continents. I've gotten feedback from people that it's changed their life. And I know that makes me sound fucking insane saying that. And sometimes I'm a little ashamed to say that because it's like, are you seriously? Like, this has really done that? But it really has. And it makes sense because it did change my life when I learned it. It absolutely changed my life. It's helped teachers. It's helped professionals. It's helped recording artists. It's helped beginner singers who don't even know where to start. It's helped people that have been frustrated with problems in their voice that they've never been able to address or really assess and fix. It's insane. So get your fucking butt in there, okay? Go to the link right now. Pause this episode. Go to the link in the show notes. It'll also be linked on my socials in the link tree. So you can check that out. It's probably also going to be on my website, sarahbishopvocalstudio.com. It's everywhere. You can find it. You have to look for it, but it is also linked right here. So if you're listening on Spotify, that's where you might want to go somewhere else because I don't know if the show notes will show up there or on YouTube or anything like that. But if you go to any of the other links on any of my socials on my website, it should be there and you should be able to sign up for free. You only have access till September 30th. Do not wait. Do not do that to yourself, okay? And there also might be a pretty special thing after it. So make sure your email that you put in is subscribed and you're getting those email notifications because, you're not going to want to miss that. You will be very upset if you miss that possible sale thing that might happen after that. So just saying. Okay, so with all of this information now, you're going to get some high quality information. It'll teach you how to hear and assess your voice teacher like voice teacher does, and what voice teachers are really helping you with when you come into lessons so you're not as codependent on them when you're by yourself because you're going to need to practice by yourself. You're going to need to work on your voice without them. And this kind of brings us into today's episode. When I get nasty fucking people commenting shit on my Instagram and my TikTok, which is just part of it, sometimes they'll, like, I have to notice, like, am I just being activated because I feel like misunderstood, or like, do they have a point, or is it just hard to communicate and get everything that we want to say in a little teeny comment and on a little teeny video? And I think 90% of the time that's actually the issue. Is like, that's why I want you guys to consume the podcast and consume all of the content, because if you look at one video and then you base the entire body of work off of that one video, that's not serving you. And I promise you, like this is free shit. This is more free shit. Like, if you were to binge all of the podcast episodes, all of the content, you would have, oh my God, like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of information. Okay. This is not basic bullshit information. So if I have someone that hasn't come across my page before and gets triggered by a video and hasn't viewed the entire body of work, and seen the multiple ways that we can teach and approach these different things, or looked at the long form way of explaining things, this is when we start to run into this kind of polarization of certain techniques and, kind of the pros and cons of things, but not explained eloquently or gone into detail about. And so we're going to talk about like a trained sound, right? What voice teachers would mostly be helping you with, and how people sometimes don't like that or are afraid of that. And I remember feeling that way too. But I also remember it coming from, like, because I couldn't make the sound that they wanted me to make and that I needed to make to get hired, right? I resented the teams and I resented the industry and was like, well, I'm not going to make that sound exactly like that because that's not who I am or how I'm built. And although there is truth to that, to quote unquote learning this BFA belt or this cookie cutter sound, right? And it's in retaliation mostly to when I make mixed belt videos. People are like, BFA belt. Yeah. And then there's other people who are like pro BFA belt, which is really just a healthy mixed belt. But they'll be like, well, say what you want about BFA belt all sounding the same or all sounding cookie cutter, but I know I'm doing it safely 8 times a week. First of all, let me be fucking clear. The belt you're learning from your BFA is probably not correct. Okay. Sorry, I had to say it. Fuck. I had to fucking say it. Okay. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but here's the thing. I can't speak for every program. Okay. I went to one of the top programs in the world. Okay. I owe a lot of where I progressed, certainly at school. I had top classical voice teachers, but still that gap of contemporary training with operatic and classical training had not been bridged. And I left school definitely with holes in my training, and not a good understanding of how to kind of cross between genres. That's why that's a big part of my brand. That's why Pillars and Advanced Mix exist. Because when I got to the city, I was like, oh, I just spent like more than $120,000, $160,000 on this education, and I still can't sing the way that I need to sing. And it's still exhausting me. I'm still running into material that I can't really sing very well. And so like that made me resent then the industry, because logically I was going, well, I just paid like 6 figures for this training. That obviously should have been the answer. And now you're coming with me wanting this sound that I can't create. And that's too much for me to feel. That didn't solve all my problems when I was told it was going to be the solution for everything, going to a top school and getting a BFA and learning to sing from one of the top schools. I had been kind of sold, or maybe not even sold, but like I subscribed to some kind of belief that should have been the end of my training for some reason, even though that's not accurate or true. That's another reason why I'm so transparent about this with you guys, so that you're not believing things that aren't helpful for you, right? So I also graduated the city being dirt fucking poor and not being able to afford to work on the sound that they needed. And it's not even, guys, when we talk about training your voice, it's not even just about giving them a sound that they need, okay? It's about getting your instrument to be able to do what you need to do consistently. And this is where I'm going to start to defend why mix and why training it is important, and why everybody ends up in the vocal studio or the speech language pathologist's office, no matter what. Is because even when you find, and it's all about you finding an authentic sound. Actually, finding vocal balance that I talk about all the time is your authentic sound. It's aligning your instrument in an efficient way. And no one is going to sound like you when you do that, okay? What we're teaching you to do when you learn a proper mix belt or vocal balance is aligning your sound. Your sound. I'm not trying to make you manipulate so that you sound like Lea Michele. You are going to sound like you singing healthily. That's what it's going to sound like. It's going to sound like you being able to repeat that sound. Do you know what makes your instrument different from other people? Is your fucking skull. Our vocal folds are actually pretty consistent. Well, sometimes they're like thicker and bigger, and like, yeah, even those can be textured. Some of the most unique voices are actually, they have like damaged voices. Like Miley Cyrus right now has a vocal disorder. That's why her voice sounds so cool. Louis Armstrong, weird fucking chords, okay? People that are iconic, it's not because they're doing, I mean, sometimes it's like technical stuff that they're doing, but if they're flexible and they're able to do a whole bunch of different shit, their technique is working, their efficiency is working, their vocal balance and their mixed belt technique is working, but it sounds different because it's their body or it's their vocal folds. So it's kind of impossible for me to help you train so that you sound a certain way as like, oh, I need to sound like this person, or I'm trying to make you all sound the same. That's fucking ridiculous, okay? And that's why I get a little bit pissed when people are talking about BFA belts and they're talking about this cookie cutter sound. I'm like, no, what we're doing is getting your body to sound the way you sound best and balancing your voice, getting your muscles to work efficiently, okay? I'm sorry if like certain people that will sound similar when they do that, but not everybody. My mixed belt does not sound like Celine Dion. My mixed belt does not sound like Lea Michele. My mixed belt, if I could pick anyone that I sort of sound close to a little bit, I sound a little bit like Julia Murney, and I sound a little bit like Judy Kuhn. Those are the people that I maybe sound like. But I sure as fuck don't sound like Sabrina Carpenter. I don't sound like Chappell Roan. I don't sound like pretty much anyone else. Like those are the two vocals that I like kind of sort of sing like. I kind of sound like them. There is no such thing as a cookie cutter fucking sound, right? You're making your instrument work efficiently. I can't make you sound like anyone else, right? You could do vocal impressions, but you're manipulating the shit out of that. That's not your aligned sound. the goal is not to make, like, even when I'm working on like this alpha bus stuff, like I was talking about in the artist burnout, like we were like talking about like maybe getting in our own heads, but like also having a lot of information and trying, it's like my thesis to work on the Elphaba score from Wicked, because I have so many vocal habits associated with that. And it's like a thesis project to like really relax all of those habits and muscle memory and like put in this new stuff. It's like very challenging, but it's good for me. I can brighten my sound that's appropriate for the style of the song, but I'm never going to sound like Jessica Vosk. That's ridiculous. I'm not. The point is not to make you sound like anyone else. The point is that you can do it 8 times a week and not fucking lose your voice. Like, and I think it plugs into some things that are actually pretty emotional, I think. And that's what I kind of wanted to speak about. It's like this distress of I'm not enough. And my sound as what it's like is not enough. And there's actually some artists that have spoken to this that are really wonderful, that I've actually asked on the podcast, but their team didn't get back to me. But Larry Ward is someone that's kind of spoken about this while she was basically trying to put her voice in a pretty big box to push to get that musical theater sound to get hired. Very valid. She kind of talks about how she was screaming and she's overdoing things and working too hard. And then on the other end, which she was like, okay, I'm going to relax on my true sound and I'm going to just make music more intuitively. And her music is so cool, but she's also not doing it in a way that's unsafe or unhealthy. Like it's balanced in her way. She's clearly understands her instrument enough to purposely do vocal flips, to purposefully have all these colors. If anything, I would argue she's very in tune with her instrument and how to use it and has trained a long time and then actively made the choice of, listen, I'm going to sing this way because this feels intuitive to me. That doesn't mean she's not capable of using her voice the way she wants to. You know what I'm saying? It's not the training's fault that people keep casting people that sound very similar. It's not, oh, if I train my voice, then I'm going to lose my sound. No, if you get a good teacher, like say you're a recording artist and you don't want a voice teacher because you're afraid they'll try to change your sound, then that's not the teacher for you, right? A good teacher, and I do this when I work with, the applications are not open, but very rarely I do take on professional recording artists and Broadway singers. I work very intensely with them to help make their sound sustainable for an upcoming project. Okay, they are filming a movie. They're doing the recording for this. Okay, we need to make sure, we're getting the best sound quality we want in the recording studio. Or, hey, I'm about to go tour my album. I need to make sure my voice I'm not losing my voice. Okay, the teacher should be feedback for you and help to get you to feel and offer their opinion of, hey, this sound does sound really good. And then it's always your choice to either disagree with them and go, no, okay, I want to do it this way. Or be like, okay, I trust you. And I think the more professionals study too, the biggest thing that I get sometimes, I'll get 2 questions. One will be like, is that too heady? Does that sound too heady? Because this person probably has a strong, fucking amazing head voice. But then they go, well, I don't think it sounds strong enough or passionate enough. Listen, I'm the first teacher to tell you if your mix sounds like shit and it's weak and thin and heady, okay? And I'm not going to lie to you. If we got it into a vocal coordination, that sounds fucking powerful as hell, but is easy for you. Sometimes y'all go, that feels too easy for that to be right. And I'm saying, well, be delusional, sister, because that sounds fucking epic. And then at that point, it's really up to you as the singer to either trust the teacher, listen back to the recordings, right? Get comfortable with it. Sometimes it's confronting because it's bringing up the not enoughness thing. It needs to be more. This as it is isn't enough. That kind of story. Sometimes it can be emotional. But at the end of the day, isn't that what we want? Don't we want our voice to sound powerful and fucking insane and unique to us and correct for the style? And feel great so you can do it all the time and share it all the time. Isn't that the point? But then I get people coming in being like, well, you just got them to mix and narrow the vowel and that's da 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 da. And I'm like there was one person that commented on, I think I was giving an example of like coaching myself and narrowing the vowel because I was screaming it. The pitch was going down. It was warping, right? There are certain things we do need to adjust with mix because it's a disservice to your sound. Listen, if you want to go flat and warp your sound with way too much bass frequency, go for it. That's your choice. I feel like you're not going to want to go flat. Okay. Sometimes we can change the acoustic. If you want that heavy, thick, guttural bass frequency, you can have that. And your pitch might suffer. If you like that bright, again, the point, my point is studying voice does not inherently going to give you a cookie cutter sound. It's going to give you freedom in your body with your sound and choice. It's going to give you lots of choice because then you're going to understand how to manipulate your own sound the way you fucking want to. And you can always return to your true sound, get up and down the ringiest, easiest way possible, and just trust that that is you. That is your instrument, and it's glorious. Some people have violins. Some people have clarinets. Some people have tubas. Some people have baritone horns. Some people have French horns. Some people have flutes. Okay? Look at it like that. Like if you learn to play your instrument all the way through, you'll kind of start to discover what instrument you are. But your instrument, if you have a violin, your instrument can fiddle and it can be symphonic. Your instrument can be the strings in a pop song. It's still your instrument. So don't fucking come to me and be like weird about not wanting to have a cookie cutter sound when our job as a good professional voice teacher is to help you access your sound. All right, let's not get confused because no one should try to change your sound in a way that doesn't feel authentic to you. And you as a singer always have a choice. And the BFA belt isn't really a thing because I can almost guarantee you that anyone coming out of a BFA isn't necessarily 100% going to be doing that right anyway. So anyway, I guess it's just to reassure you, and it's to speak to people that if you're resenting the industry, right, or you're resenting, this is complicated. This is a complex topic because if, maybe you do have a really unique sound that you love and that's doable. It's not wearing you out and it's not being as received because it's so different. Then at that point, it's going to be about you owning your true sound. Right. I had a friend from college who had a very unique sound, who never really tried to sing like anyone else. She lined up her voice in the way that worked best for her, and then she just let it rip. And it's kind of one of those voices like some people hate it and some people love it. It actually comes from deep self-acceptance of like, this is my instrument, this is my sound. I can tweak it and express in the way that I want, but inherently by studying and training my voice, it's just strong and ready to go. It's actually more capable of having that artistic choice. It's not, I'm afraid of training my voice because I think you'll take away my authenticity. What? What the fuck? No one can take away your authenticity because it's your literal fucking body. Okay? It's literally your bone structure. It's like, what? No. No. What our goal is to get you functioning as effortlessly as possible and giving you some powerful, magical, angelic fucking ring, baby. Giving you that power. You finding what already exists in you. That's the point. So anyway, I wanted to speak to that because that was, I wasn't fucking with that. Wasn't vibing with that because I think it's coded in fear. It's coded in misunderstanding. It's coded in miscommunication. I'm not going to say that there aren't teachers out there that are trying to make everybody sound the same. I won't say that. You can still have your opinion if you want to remain untrained. That's fine. There are still great singers that remain untrained and are actually doing a lot of things very right, especially if they're not, it's possible to be born like a prodigy and be completely intuitive and sing completely from there. And that is thrilling and exciting. But if you're thrashing your fucking voice every week when you play your concert and you're touring and you're damaging your gold, then maybe you should look at that. Or if you're resenting, you're frustrated that you can't deliver what people are trying to communicate with you, what they think would help you. and you're going, why don't you just accept my sound? But really deep down is, I wish I could do it and I just can't. And that makes me feel bad about myself. Then maybe go take Discover and launch a free and see, hey, what's actually at my disposal? Is this really that I'm not accepting? Like, is it really that I'm in deep discomfort, that I am actually not expressing the way I want to, and that's being reflected back to me in feedback? And I'm just pissed that I don't want a cookie cutter sound and I'm using that as an excuse? Or is it real? Or on the other end, is it really that you really do have a truly authentic, cool sound and that you're able to do it all the time and it feels so good to you? And then you're just kind of fighting against the current of, where do I fit? Well, then in that case, baby, you just do your own thing and see what happens. Again, this is about choice. This is about empowerment. This is about expression. This is not about forcing everybody into the same shape. And I hate to tell you, but the way to do it healthily is mixing, and mixed belt is non-negotiable. If you want to do those things consistently and healthily, you're going to have to learn. Are there times where we break the rules? Where you're going to yodel and flip and do all kinds of cool shit and be off balance on purpose? Hell yeah. Actually, I invite you to do that. I hope you do. But do you need to return for your own longevity so that you're an artist that keeps singing for a long, long time? Yeah, you still need it. You still need it. You can have both. You can have a healthy voice that you can rely on and it's always going to have your back. And you can have some really cool stylistic expressions that are unique to you. You can have both and you need both. And the world needs you to show us both. Okay. Anyway, I care about you. I love you. I talk to you like you're one of my sisters, which is a little aggressive. So sorry. But it's true. It's true. You're capable of it. I want you to be reflective of, what resistance is coming up about it and frustrations that are coming up about it. And know that when you actually line up your voice and play it the way that your voice actually functions, you will find so many cool things, dude. And I'm so excited for that for you. And this is why, another final reminder, go sign up for Discover. Watch it before September 30th. That's going to be the start to you kind of starting to figure out what is your color? What is your sound? And then what knowing the rules, then how can you break them, right? How can you purposely do some cool stuff instead of just blindly and sadly just throwing spaghetti at a wall and wondering why it won't work consistently. But anyway, thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you so much. I love hearing from you guys. If you love these episodes, even though I've been a little aggressive lately, so sorry about it. If you love these episodes, please share them with your friends. Share these conversations that aren't really talked about publicly. If they're feeling, down, they're feeling, they're struggling with these. If you're struggling with these, share them. Because the point is to find community among artists and support each other, offer some insight at different points of people's paths. And the other thing I'll say is, if you really love it, leave a 5-star written review, take a screenshot, email it to me, singerspath@gmail.com, and I will enter you to win a free lesson. And I'll keep you in that pool. Hopefully we get more and more entries, and then I can do multiple drawings and keep doing those drawings. So if you give it to me, you're going to remain in that pool to get a free lesson. Okay. And this is really special because I don't offer one-on-one lessons publicly. There's an application process. There's a referral you cannot work with me privately at this point. The only way you can work with me is through group lessons, which that isn't even open right now. So you literally can't work with me any other way. So you might as well, if you've been wanting to work with me, this is it. Go leave a review and shoot your shot, and it's free. Why not? And especially if you love it. If you don't like it and you're going to leave me a shitty review, then bye. Don't do that to me. Please. So all that to say, I care about you. I wish you well. I'm excited to announce some more things. Go check out Discover. Leave a review if you're pumped about it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.